My beloved child, today I want you to know something deeply hidden in my heart, something veiled through time. But now I choose to reveal it to you, because my love for you is too great to remain silent any longer. There is someone from your own lineage, bearing the very blood and legacy I have entrusted to you, who came before me, bowed in prayer, and cried out with a heart full of earnest pleading on your behalf. That prayer did not fall into a void. It echoed to the highest realms of heaven and reached the depths of my heart. It was that very prayer that opened the door for me to reveal what you need to know, a secret that has never been hidden from me, but a truth you must hear in this very hour. Before the first light was kindled, before the stars were hung in the heavens, even before time began its rhythm, I saw you. I did not merely see you as a vague image in the future. I knew you deeply, entirely, to the very core of your soul. Every emotion you would feel, every question you would ask, every tear that would roll down your cheek in the silent night. I knew it all. I knew you the way a father knows the child he loves. And that love did not begin when you were born. It has eternally existed within me. You are not a random existence adrift in the current of the cosmos. You are not a mistake in the plan of this world, nor the product of some fleeting moment. No, my child, every step you have taken was ordained by me with purpose and intention. I wrote the story of your life with my own fingers, and every page bears the ink of love, care, and wonder things only a father could bestow upon his child. Even the dark or tangled chapters of your early life were never beyond my watchful hand. I wove every thread of your being as a master artisan crafts a robe of destiny, each thread deliberate, each color carrying a message from heaven. You may have once wondered, do I have worth? Am I truly seen, loved, chosen? And today, I want you to know you are not only seen, you are appointed. You may not always feel it, but in the very moments you thought yourself forgotten, I was preparing a turning point for you, a transformation reserved for those whom I love in a special way. You are part of a plan far greater than you understand. Every season you've walked through, whether full of struggle or overflowing with joy, has brought you closer to the divine purpose I planted in you from the beginning. I have spoken over your life not once, but again and again through signs, through dreams, through my word, and even through encounters you may have thought were coincidences. Do you know this? Nothing in your life is trivial. Even the moments that seem insignificant are links in the sacred chain I am using to complete a greater work. At times, I allow you to walk through silence not because I am far, but because I want your faith to take root more deeply, so that when you stand in the light of understanding, you will know with certainty that I upheld you through it all. My child, let me say this again, so it may settle deep within you. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought in someone's mind. You are not the result of carelessness or misfortune. You are created with divine precision. Every detail measured with love and infinite wisdom, every gift within you, every longing in your soul, every stirring that keeps you awake at night, all are part of the design I marked out for you before the foundations of the earth. And nothing, no one, no circumstance can erase that truth. Therefore, my beloved, when you feel lost in a noisy world, remember that you are known, guided, loved, and prepared. When you feel misunderstood or rejected, let your heart return to the truth that I, the maker of heaven and earth, chose you, crafted you with intention, and left nothing in you as excess. When you walk without knowing the full path, keep walking, for you are on the road I designed. And when you grow weary, rest your head on me, For I am your Father, the one who sees all things, understands all things, and loves you with a love that never fails. Today, I call you back to this truth. You are my child, loved, known, ordained, not because you are flawless, but because I have spoken over your life, and I do not change. That word still echoes across time, into your present, pulling you toward a future filled with hope. So stand firm. Live not as one stumbling in the dark, but as one who knows they are chosen, prepared, and led by the faithful hand of the Father. For I have known you, even before anything began, and I will not leave you until everything I have purposed for you is fulfilled in glorious light. My beloved child, perhaps in recent days your heart has carried unanswered questions, as if the past long buried has risen like a wave, bringing with it old fragments of pain, conflict, and injustice. You wonder why, after all these silent years, that unresolved matter, whether physical or spiritual, has suddenly resurfaced, as though an unseen hand has stirred the calm waters you believed you had already crossed. But I want you to understand, this is not a coincidence, nor is it punishment. This is a time I have chosen to unveil what was hidden, to end the cycles you did not create but have had to bear. Because I love you, I will not allow you to walk further, carrying invisible chains passed down from generations, things that have secretly hindered the blessings meant to be yours. You did not know that the enemy has been watching, not just targeting you, but the sacred bloodline I placed in you. He has tried to delay, to confuse, and, if permitted, to destroy the very path I laid for you from the beginning. But he does not have ultimate authority unless covenants made by your ancestors during ages of fear and ignorance have unknowingly given him access. These covenants may not have been spoken clearly, but were recorded in the spirit realm through actions, promises, or compromises thought to be harmless or necessary for survival. And then the cycles of sorrow, instability, and obscurity continued, passed from one generation to another like a silent shadow that no one could name. My child, what I need you to understand now is not to fear, nor to judge those who came before you. I want you to look at this moment through the eyes of faith. If this is the time for things to surface, then it is also the time I have chosen to heal to the root. Not everything exposed is meant to hurt. Some things are brought to light so they may be cut off, redeemed, and restored. And you, yes, you, are the one I have chosen to stand at the gate of your family line as a spiritual watchman. You are not living for yourself alone. You stand on behalf of your lineage, for the voiceless generations behind you, and for the generations ahead who deserve to walk in full freedom and blessing. You may feel too weak, not wise enough, or not spiritual enough to carry this responsibility. But I did not choose you because you were ready. I chose you because your heart is tender, because you listen to my voice, because you hunger for truth and light. It is your surrender and childlike trust that form the foundation for the breakthrough I am about to bring. I do not require you to understand everything at once. I only ask that you walk with me, one step at a time, in obedience and trust. You will not be alone. I will walk beside you, and I will teach you how to pray, how to declare, how to break ancient agreements by the power of the cross and the precious blood of my Son Jesus. English translation. The enemy has tried to block the divine flow that was meant to pour through your life, the dreams, the gifts, the sacred connections, and even the mission you have long felt deep within but never fully dared to walk into. But now, I am rekindling that flow, and nothing can stop it when I move my hand. The truth will set you free, not just in name, but in every specific area: your finances, your emotions, your relationships, your worship, and even the divine destiny you thought had been buried by the passage of time. What the enemy has stolen, I will reclaim. The spiritual territory he has occupied, I will restore. My beloved, do not be afraid when old things begin to surface. Know this: if they are rising, it is because I have appointed the time for them to be removed. No force can resist the light when I give the command, and that light is within you, flowing out through your prayers, your tears, your hunger for truth and righteousness which you have held onto all this time. Step into this process as a rescue mission, not only for yourself, but for an entire bloodline. You are the one I placed at the right time, in the right place, to make a difference. You will no longer be bound by the murky past, but will enter a season of clarity, of breaking, and of new beginnings. And I promise you this: what I begin, I will bring to completion. What has been bound will be loosed. What was once shame will be turned into glory. What was once a wound will become evidence of healing power. And what you once could not understand will become a testimony of my righteousness, mercy, and wisdom. Stand firm, for now is the appointed time when I expose to restore, I touch to heal, and I call your name to deliver a generation. For you are not only chosen, you are sent, anointed, and set free to be a light within your very own lineage. My dear child, today I want to reveal to you a profound truth, a secret that, if you grasp it, will change the way you see yourself, your family, and the path you are walking. You may think your connection to your ancestors is merely about bloodline, name, or the memory of those who lived before you. But this connection is more than a biological legacy. It is a sacred covenant, a spiritual alliance established generations ago, carrying not only blessings but also burdens, things you did not cause but were born into. These things may be invisible to the natural eye, yet they exist clearly in the spiritual realm. And they are the very barriers the enemy has used to keep you from stepping into the fullness I have prepared for you. I see what your eyes cannot. There were vows once spoken in pain, in desperation, or in the ignorance of an earlier time. Those covenants were not inherently evil, for your ancestors were trying to protect themselves and their families in the only way they knew how. But when such words were not rooted in light and truth, they unwittingly opened doors to darkness. Phrases like, "This family was born to suffer," or "We will never escape poverty," or "We must sacrifice joy just to survive," these words, spoken in weariness, carry spiritual weight, like dark seeds buried deep in the ground. And though you did not plant them, you have lived in that garden. I know there have been times you've wondered why you always feel like you're dragging something heavy without knowing its shape. Why good dreams always seem to slip away just before they bloom. Why you must work twice as hard for half the outcome. It is not because you are lacking, but because invisible chains have held your feet. But my child, the truth I reveal is not to condemn, but to heal, not to add burden, but to usher you gently into a new era, where every old thing is severed by the power of light. You carry within you an inheritance from an everlasting kingdom, where no curse can touch you if you stand in my name. The old vows, the ancient covenants, have no authority over you when the light of truth shines. When you become aware, when you declare your freedom in my name, when you choose to reject what is not from me then every unseen chain begins to fall. Every old door closes, and every curse is broken by the precious blood that was shed for you. You are no longer bound. Not anymore. Remember, you are not defined by the failures of generations past. You are not limited by the boundaries your family once believed were unbreakable. You are not imprisoned by choices others made long ago. You are a new creation in me. You are the one I have chosen to break the cycle, and I have anointed you not only to survive the inherited burdens, but to transform them into testimony. Do not fear as you look back. The past no longer has power to make you tremble. Face it with courage, supported by the wisdom from heaven. Walk as one who knows you've been given the authority to break chains not by your own strength, but by the unshakable promises of your Father, the one who has seen it all and still calls you by that sweet name, my beloved child. From this day forward, change how you pray. Do not only ask to be delivered from hardship, ask to see the root of it. Do not only ask for open doors, ask for light to shine on the places in your family and soul you've never explored. Pray as an heir reclaiming what rightfully belongs to you: freedom, peace, clarity, and power to live out the destiny I have ordained. Do not be afraid if you find yourself the first to confront, to sever, to say, "This ends with me." For that very courage is the sign that you are standing in the place of the chosen. And when you do not just deliver yourself, you open a path for a new generation to walk free from the shadows of the old. My child, I rejoice when I see your heart softened, when you listen, and when you choose to believe my word over your circumstances. What you are walking through is not an ending, it is a beginning no longer shaped by the unspoken things that lingered through generations. I am rewriting the story of your bloodline with my own hand, and you are the first page of a new chapter, a chapter of freedom, of light, and of restoration. You are no longer bound. You belong to the light, and that light is growing in you with every step you take in truth, in trust, and in my love. Be strong, my child. I am here. I have never left, and I am moving. Beloved child, when I open your eyes to the truth of what has influenced your bloodline, it is not merely a revelation to understand, but a divine invitation to step into the journey of renewal. Yet you must know this: you cannot fully enter the season of deliverance unless your heart is prepared to receive the truth with humility and deep gratitude. What I am about to do in your life is not a reward for perfection, but the result of a surrendered heart, a heart willing to bow low, not led by pride or past wounds, but open to the touch of my grace in the deepest places of your soul. It is in humility that my power is most fully revealed, and it is through gratitude that ancient chains begin to crack. But my child, there is one thing you must decide, a choice that must be made in awareness and truthfulness. You must choose to let go, not a shallow letting go, but from the depths of your spirit, let fall every fragment of unforgiveness that has been nurtured through the years, whether by accident or intent. I know you have been hurt by actions, by words, or by the absence of love and understanding from those who came before you. I know there are things in your heart that you've never dared to speak, scars you've learned to hide, and questions that remain unanswered. But my child, to enter into true freedom, you must refuse to let bitterness define you any longer. You cannot hold on to resentment and, at the same time, fully grasp my promises. The two cannot coexist within a heart of faithfulness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means breaking the power of pain over your future. When you choose to forgive, you are not excusing someone's wrongdoings. but you are declaring that pain will no longer rule your life. When you release bitterness, you are not denying the wounds you suffered, but you are proclaiming that they are no longer your identity. You are not the result of generational failure. You are the living testimony of the restoration I am bringing. And for that to become reality, you must boldly sever the patterns that have held your family in cycles of defeat, negative thought systems, reactions rooted in fear instead of faith, traditions that have become invisible chains crafted by the enemy to keep your lineage from breaking through. Look again, my child, with eyes anointed by the Holy Spirit, to see that not everything your parents or grandparents taught was truth. Some things were passed on because they believed that was the only way to survive. But now you know better. You carry greater light, and you are called to set a new standard in my kingdom. Not in arrogance, but in holy reverence. Declare, Lord, what I once called normal, I now see as bondage, and I choose to walk in it no more. Speak it out. Pray it through. Break those patterns. If your ancestors once said, "We'll never amount to much," then you declare, "In the name of the Lord, I and my generation will walk in heavenly prosperity." If your family carried the mindset, "No one loves or understands us," then you shift it by living with trust and love, unlocking a new inheritance for your children. My child, change will not come instantly. You may struggle, be misunderstood, even face resistance from those you love. But know this, if you walk in humility and obedience, nothing the enemy sets up will stop the release I am about to bring through your bloodline. Let gratitude become your daily breath, gratitude that I did not abandon your family in its chain of failures. Gratitude that you were chosen to step out and rise up. Gratitude that even in long seasons of darkness, the light still found you first. And as you live with that gratitude, you will see that nothing is wasted. No battle is meaningless. Everything I allow is part of my plan for complete restoration. My beloved, you were chosen not just to be healed, but to become a healer. You are the bridge between what was and what is to come. Every act of forgiveness, every choice to live differently, every moment you bow to my will, these become the foundation stones of a new generation. And I, the one who never deceives or abandons, will stand beside you, strengthen you, and bless you beyond what you can ask or imagine. So rise with a tender heart, open hands, and a spirit ready to release the old and receive the new. For when you do, all of heaven will rejoice, and the enemy will tremble, because you, my child, have chosen freedom. My beloved, perhaps in the quiet hours of long nights, you have wondered why your life seems filled with unspoken battles, why the good you hope for slips away in a moment, why some days feel like a silent war against something invisible, something deep, quiet, but real, as if your soul is being pulled between two worlds. I want you to know you are not crazy, not weak, and you are not being punished for something you did. No, my child, what you are experiencing is not the consequence of personal mistakes, but the result of things passed down, things you did not choose, but which now demand that you rise, because you are the one chosen to end a cycle, to close a war that began generations ago. The battles you face are not ordinary trials or tests to build your character. They are spiritual collisions, stirred not merely by your presence in this world, but by the sacred destiny I placed in your heart from before time began. You carry a lineage, a bloodline, a string of promises and cracks. Some of those before you opened doors to things opposite to the light, not because they were evil, but because they were uninformed, unloved, or had to choose under fear. But you live in a time when darkness is no longer permitted to reign in silence. You have been awakened by me, called out from the crowd to take your place, not just as one who lives for the present, but as one who wars for the future. This battle you are in did not start with you, but it ends with you. It is a battle for your soul, for you are a gateway, a carrier of a spiritual inheritance waiting to be redeemed. More than that, it is a battle for your destiny, because the enemy knows that if you walk fully in my plan, he will lose not just one soul, but an entire generation that follows in freedom. You are not just living for yourself. You are clearing a path for those who come after, for your children, for unborn generations, for those waiting to see a living example of breaking, renewal, and liberation. You may feel too small to carry such a great task. But my child, I did not choose you because you are strong. I chose you because your heart is willing. I do not need you to be perfect. I only need you to believe that I am doing something great through the small and hidden, your daily faithfulness, your midnight prayers, your unseen tears. They are touching eternity and contributing to the victory heaven is already celebrating. Do not underestimate the value of walking faithfully in the dark, for it is in the dark that your light of faith shines the brightest. You may look around and see others living more easily, carrying lighter loads, but you are called to a higher purpose. What you are breaking is not merely personal limitation, it is the wall that has separated generations from the inheritance I ordained. What you are fighting is not people, circumstances, or emotions, but spiritual forces that have operated quietly across lifetimes to keep a family in confusion. Poverty, failure, or instability. But now, that battle is reaching its conclusion. You are the one standing at the final line, not to fall, but to reclaim territory that was stolen. And I am here, never leaving my post as your defender. I see every war waging within you, every exhaustion hidden behind a smile, every moment you almost gave up but stood firm. Just because you knew I was watching, you are not alone. A whole army of heaven stands with you. Each time you refuse to repeat old mistakes, each time you forgive instead of harboring resentment, each time you pray instead of complaining, you are pushing back the darkness from the spiritual land I've given you. And soon, very soon, you will look back and realize that those seemingly unfair battles were the very places you discovered your true self, where my power was made known, not in earthquakes or firestorms, but in the quiet perseverance of a heart that refuses to quit. My beloved, understand that what you're facing is not meaningless. Every battle has purpose, and that purpose is always connected to something greater than yourself. This is not merely a journey of survival, it is a journey of inheritance, reclamation, of establishing a new bloodline, of opening the door to a new era written in your very DNA. Keep walking, not because you are strong, but because I am strong in you. And I promise, your battles are not in vain. Everything you overcome today will become the firm foundation of tomorrow, where my life, my truth, and my glory will be fully revealed through your story. My beloved, I want you to pause for a moment amid your busy path, amid the wounded steps of your years, and listen to the whisper of my voice in your heart. It is a truth that, if you grasp it, they will transform the way you see yourself and the road ahead. You've heard much about breaking free from the past, about the invisible chains that held your soul in the darkness of ancestral legacies. But today, I am not only speaking to you about what must end. I want you to understand something greater, deeper, and more radiant. This is not just about escaping bondage. This is about stepping into the fullness I prepared for you before the foundations of the world. And you, yes, you are the one chosen to walk in. You were not born to live endlessly in confusion and brokenness. You were not created merely to learn how to survive each day, dragging yourself through each month. I did not call you out of the darkness so you could live a half-life in the light. You were never destined to carry the weight of others' wrongs, nor to have your life confined by the familiar patterns of your forefathers. You are not a victim of legacy. You are an heir of glory. You were crafted with holy purpose, intricately designed with boundless wisdom and love, to become a vessel of light, a place where I can pour out my life, my peace, and my presence. My child, do not view yourself through the lens of what has been failures, unfulfilled dreams, or words that wounded you. Do not let your family's past, the rejection of others, or your own stumbling moments become the map that leads your future. I am the one holding the pen that writes your story, not to trap you in chapters of struggle and regret, but to lead you into a new chapter, one of restoration, surrender, and spiritual victory. What you've been through is only a preface, not the whole book. What the enemy meant to destroy you, I will use as the foundation for your rising into glory and power. You may feel unworthy, not strong enough, not capable of fulfilling a great destiny. But let me remind you of this. I did not choose you because you were ready. I chose you because I am ready to work through your surrender. I do not need your perfection, I need your belief. Believe that what I said is true. Believe that your destiny did not begin with failure, but with the loving heart of a father who saw you before you were ever formed. You are chosen to live a life of eternal impact, not just for what you do, but because of who you are in me. My beloved, I do not want you merely to learn how to escape bondage. I want you to learn how to walk in freedom. Freedom is not a fleeting feeling of relief. It is a spiritual reality when you know who you are, where you stand, and what you are called to. Freedom is when you are no longer chained by the voices of fear, doubt, or shame, but when you stand firm upon my word, live with courage from the Holy Spirit, and walk daily, not by striving, but by the power of grace. True freedom is not living in reaction to the past, but living intentionally with vision for what is to come. I want you to know that you were created to carry my peace into places of chaos, to bring light into the dim places, and to release life into every person you touch. I do not want you to merely live a safe life, but a victorious one, a life where even the smallest of your choices echoes into eternity. Every right step, every time you choose to forgive, every time you stand firm in the storm, you are fulfilling the divine purpose I set for you before time began. My child, do not underestimate your role in my plan. Do not think that your silent prayers, your hidden tears in the quiet room, are without power. It is in those very moments that your soul is being shaped, that you are being prepared for greater doors and deeper influence, things you have not even imagined. I am molding you, not just to survive, but to live abundantly, to stand in this world as a living witness of truth, goodness, and the unfailing power of a God who never breaks his promises. So, my beloved child, do not look back as though you are still bound by what is old. Lift your head, for your future is not locked in your past. It is held in my hands, and I am holding your hand, walking you through each day, each season, each trial, to bring you to a place where peace is not a dream but a reality, where you do not merely exist, but live fully and meaningfully. This is not a fantasy. This is your inheritance. It is not for someone else. It is for you, the one I have known, loved, chosen, and am leading into the fullness I prepared before time began. My precious child, in the moments you feel weary, when your mind is besieged by doubt and fear, when the voices inside whisper that you are not enough, not worthy, or will never make it, I want you to stop and hear the voice of my heart. Do not believe the lies of the enemy, who constantly seeks to take you down with deception, cleverly disguised as circumstances, painful memories, or human disappointments. Know this, not every voice is worthy of your attention. Some whispers must be silenced by truth. And the truth is, you are not forsaken. You are not defeated. You are not a failure. You are victorious in me. I have declared it, and no one can undo it. My child, hold tightly to my word. Do not let emotions or delays blur what I have promised. My word is not merely text in a book. It is breath from my mouth, life, power, and the firm foundation for your soul to stand unshaken in every storm. Use my word as a sharp sword, not only to defend yourself, but to tear down every accusation the enemy hurls to crush your spirit. When the world says impossible, let your lips declare, all things are possible in my Father's name. When circumstances scream no way, declare, the door is open. When the enemy whispers, you are nothing special, answer with full assurance that you are chosen, anointed, and positioned for a divine purpose no one else can fulfill. You have been given authority not in formality, but as a spiritual decree from the highest court, heaven. This means that your words spoken in faith carry weight, influence, and power to shift the spiritual atmosphere around you. Speak life over your situation, even when everything you see or hear says otherwise. Declare freedom, not because you see the door open, but because I have said you are no longer in chains. Declare blessing, not because everything is perfect, but because you know the source of blessing is never empty. And declare victory, because the battle was won long before it began, when my Son secured every triumph for you on the cross. You do not need to wait for a miracle to believe you are free. The verdict has already been spoken. The case the enemy built against you based on past mistakes, generational limitations, and societal labels has already been tried in the court of heaven. And I, the righteous judge, have issued the final ruling. You are forgiven. You are redeemed. You are released. You are chosen for greatness. No one can reopen that case. No one can call you by your old names again. From this day forward, you are called by a new name, beloved, and trust it, bearer of the kingdom's light, my beloved child. This is not an ordinary season. This is the hour of breakthrough. This is the moment when you must cast off the garment of doubt and put on the armor of faith. This is the time not merely to survive, but to rise, to stand tall, and to act as one who knows exactly who they are in the Father. Stand in the light of that truth and walk forward without fear. Breakthrough does not always arrive like a mighty rushing wind, but like the first drop of water falling on dry ground, quiet, gentle, yet full of power. And it is your faithfulness in word, in belief, and in gratitude that will cause the barren land to bloom. You are no longer passive. You are the proclaimer, the establisher, the forerunner. You have been given authority to call forth what is not as though it were, to look upon ashes and see a city rising, to stand in the middle of battle and sing praise. Your faith in the darkest hour is the evidence of the resurrection I am working within you. And I promise you this, not one word from your mouth, when spoken in faith, will fall to the ground in vain. They will stir movements, open gates, shift mountains, and alter destinies not only yours but of those connected to you. Therefore, my beloved, do not shrink back. Do not stay silent. Speak, declare, rise up and walk into the promised land, not because you are enough, but because I am, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful. And it is precisely when you dare to say, I believe, that all of heaven stands to bless you. For this is not merely the start of a new chapter. This is the proclamation of a restored soul, equipped and now walking in authority stamped by heaven itself. You are mine, and I am yours. Live like it, walk like it, speak like it, for you are free, you are blessed, and you are called for greatness. My dear child, in my infinite wisdom and unchanging love, I have silently woven a tapestry of life that transcends time, a sacred masterpiece not confined to one generation, but stretched across millennia, through scorching summers and icy winters, through small decisions and monumental moments made by those who walked before you. Every thread in this tapestry is not random, but placed with purpose by my hand, each like a note in a divine symphony. And you, my child, are the living knot where all those threads meet the continuation of everything sown since the beginning. You may think of yourself as a lone individual, one among billions, a flicker of light in the vast darkness. But the truth is this, running through your veins is the echo of history, the legacy of those who lived, who loved, who sacrificed, and who believed in something they may never have seen with their own eyes. You, every ancestor of yours, whether their life was humble or heroic, was part of the divine preparation that led to who you are today. Their love, their silent prayers, their footsteps through deserts, their failures and triumphs, none of it was in vain. It all forms the foundation, the pathway, for you to enter the season I prepared for you before the foundations of the world. Not a single person in your lineage was born outside of my purpose. Each one, despite flaws and limits, was used as part of a larger story culminating in your life right now. You do not stand alone. You are upheld by an invisible host of souls who came before you. You are not merely given a chance, you are entrusted with a calling to live in a way that honors everything they pressed toward. They were not perfect, but they handed down more than DNA. They passed on perseverance, resilience, and a precious glimpse of revelation. They were the ones who held hands through war, through loss, through dry seasons and fragile hopes. And now, you carry the torch. My child, I did not place you in this world by accident. Everything in your life from the day you were born, the conditions in which you were raised, the people you encountered, even the pain you've endured, none of it escaped. My eyes, I have used it all. As a master craftsman uses every fragment of fabric to weave a masterpiece. And that masterpiece does not end with who you are today. It opens into a new chapter, one where you are invited to rise, not merely as a descendant, but as a pioneer. You are the meeting point between memory and destiny, between unfulfilled promises and their earthly manifestation. You were not born to carry the weight of the past, but to fulfill what the past has been preparing. The tapestry I have woven in eternity is not beautiful merely in its design, but in its meaning. It tells a story of relentless love, of faithful preservation, and of a plan that transcends every human limitation. Every thread is a testimony of sacrifice. Every hue, a heartbeat of grace. And at the center of it all is you. This very moment, this sacred invitation I am placing before your soul. Rise. Live fully. Do not merely exist live as one who has been prepared, equipped, and anointed to carry out a mission from heaven. Do not think you must be perfect to begin. Do not wait until everything is in place to move forward. It is precisely when you feel unready that you are in the perfect position to depend entirely on me. It is your weakness that becomes the vessel for my strength to shine through completely. And when you dare to step out, you will realize that all of heaven and earth have been waiting for this moment, not because you are the center of the universe, but because you have been placed at the center of divine timing, in the exact position to become the answer to the prayers once spoken through tears by generations past. My beloved child, I do not demand greatness from you by the standards of this world. All I long for is a heart that knows it was created for a higher purpose. A soul that understands it never walks alone, and a life that is willing to be used by me, even in the smallest of ways, to bring light into the darkness. Let your life be a response to the unfulfilled hopes of those who came before you. Let every breath you take be a step closer to the divine destiny I planted within your soul. And as you live in this way, you will not merely be the product of a lineage, but the beginning of something new, a legacy being awakened, an era being shaped, and a new chapter woven into the eternal tapestry I continue to create with my everlasting love for you. My dear child, there are truths too deep for words, delicate tremors that only the heart can perceive, and I want you to pause for a moment to listen to something deeper than sound, firmer than fleeting emotions. Can you feel it? That quiet yet powerful stirring, like an underground stream within your soul, reminding you that you have not been abandoned, that in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, a gentle covering surrounds you. This is not illusion. This is spiritual reality. A profound truth I desire for you not only to know intellectually, but to feel with every beat of your heart that you are being watched over, you are being protected, and above all, you are being loved unconditionally, boundlessly, and with a love that will never fade with time. That love flows not only from me, the one who held you before you ever called my name, but also from those who came before you. Souls within your lineage who now stand in eternity, gazing at you with eyes full of hope and tenderness. Do you not know they've never left you? Though you cannot touch them in physical form, they have never disappeared. With every step you take, every decision you make, every fall and rising again, they are present as a great cloud of witnesses surrounding you. They do not look at you with judgment, but with gratitude, because you are living out what they once dreamed of. You are continuing a journey they could not finish, and they are cheering you on, not with loud shouts, but with a quiet, enduring encouragement that echoes from the unseen realm, where time and space no longer separate. You are not alone, even in those midnight hours when your tears fall unnoticed. Even in moments when you feel like you're fighting a battle no one understands. I see it all, and so do your ancestors. They hear the silent cries of your heart. They sense your inner wrestlings, and from the invisible realm, they are interceding, connecting with the source of life, me, to impart to you a strength you didn't know you had. They operate as invisible watchmen, as healing winds that brush against your soul when you feel too weary to move forward. Their wisdom, their faithfulness, and the lessons they once paid a price to learn, these are now flowing into you like a sacred current that surpasses every material boundary. You don't need to strive to be strong. You only need to open your heart to receive. For when you are weak, that is when true strength is poured into you. When you are honest about your pain, that is when your soul becomes fertile ground for healing. And when you admit you cannot carry it all alone, that is when you will feel a hidden hand gently lifting you, keeping you from falling into the depths of despair. It is my hand, and it is also the ongoing prayers of those who have loved you from everlasting. They know that you are living in a sacred time, a time of awakening, of breaking old patterns, of the destiny long awaited by your lineage coming into bloom, and you are the one chosen to awaken it. O child, there will be moments when you hear nothing, feel nothing, and every external sign seems to work against you. But I urge you, do not be deceived by the silence. It is in the stillness that the spiritual realm is stirring. It is in the darkness that the seed of destiny begins to sprout. And it is in the unseen moments that angels on assignment are carrying out their divine work, protecting, intervening, guiding. Do not underestimate the power of your quiet footsteps. You are not living only for yourself, but clearing a path for those who will come after, so they may walk in freedom, light, and truth. And as you continue walking by faith, know this: you are shaking the spirit realm. Every time you do not give up, every time you choose love over resentment, prayer over judgment, forgiveness over bitterness, you are releasing a heavenly symphony where your voice joins the voices of your ancestors and the voice of your Father, forming a divine harmony that no force can silence. You are a part of that symphony, not offbeat, not forgotten, but divinely woven in. My precious child, do not hesitate to lift your head. Even if the world fails to recognize your worth, heaven knows it intimately, even when you feel small, fragile, or invisible in the eyes of others. To me, you are a cherished gem, a burning torch in the night, the answer to the prayers of generations past. Keep moving, even if it's at a slow pace. Keep living, even against the wind. Keep believing, for you are not alone. You have never been alone. And within every breath you take today is the response to a love that began in eternity and will never fade. Beloved child, in the midst of rough roads and days that feel impossible to overcome, I want you to pause and hear my voice calling you back to an eternal truth that the whirlwind of life may have made you forget. You are not walking alone. You have never been abandoned in the battle, and you never will be. Lift your eyes, my child, and see through the lens of faith that transcends the limits of the flesh. There is a great cloud of witnesses surrounding you, not mere blurry faces from memory, but living souls in eternity, those who have gone before, who paved the way with their sweat, tears, and silent prayers you never heard. They never stopped cheering for you, not with loud declarations, but with sacred encouragement that reverberates through the depths of your spirit. Every step you take is not only your own, but an echo of generations, a continuation of seeds of greatness planted long ago. You may think you're fighting alone, that no one sees the burden you carry, but I want you to know there is an invisible army standing beside you, not in flesh and bone, but in power and holiness that transcends time and space. These are the ones who fell but did not quit, who believed without ever seeing results, who uttered prayers in long nights never knowing they were preparing a way for you to walk today. They are not only your ancestors by blood, but spiritual warriors of an unshakable kingdom, and they are here not to carry your burdens for you, but to remind you that you are strong enough, you are equipped, and you are never alone. But it is not only them, my child. I have commanded my angels to encamp around you, not just in the days of ease, but especially in the hours when darkness seems to press in from all sides. Every time you walk through uncertainty, an angel walks beside you. Every time you lift your eyes in the midst of battle and whisper a short cry, "Father, help me," all of heaven moves. Not a single tear you shed falls to the ground without being noticed by me. Not a single prayer uttered from a broken heart escapes my hearing. And so, you are not protected by chance or luck, but by a divine order, a spiritual hedge established by my own hand to guard you, shield you, and lead you toward the destination I have prepared for you. Understand, my child, the battle you are facing is not just your own. It is a battle for the promise, for destiny, for the light that must shine in the darkness. And the enemy knows this well. He does not tremble at your past, but he fears the future you are walking into. He is not shaken by your failures, but he quakes when you dare to rise again. For every time you choose not to give up, every time you choose forgiveness over revenge, love over closing your heart, every time you say, "Amen," even when the miracle is not yet seen, that is when you shake the heavens and cause hell to tremble. That is why I have sent my angels to surround you like an impenetrable radiance. You do not need to fear what is coming, for I am already there. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. No slander, no cunning scheme, no force of darkness can overthrow a soul kept in my care. You are not one trying to earn love, you have been loved. Are loved, and will always be loved through every season. You do not have to prove your worth, for your value is engraved on the palm of my hand, and I never forget anything that belongs to you. So, my beloved child, when you feel the winds rising, do not be afraid. When you feel lost in the sea of people, remember that divine eyes are watching over you. There is a covering more powerful than any wall you could ever build by your own strength. There is a sacred bloodline, a spiritual inheritance, an unchanging promise that follows every breath you take. Keep walking, not in confusion, but with faith, knowing that you are being upheld by an unshakable kingdom, covered by unconditional love, and accompanied by a host of heavenly warriors guarding your every step. My child, this is the hour for you to lift your head, not because you are no longer weak, but because you know the one who keeps you is faithful. This is the moment to step forward, not in human confidence, but in the assurance of a soul surrounded by the divine. You are walking between two realms, the visible earth and the invisible heavens, and each step you take is a declaration that the light will not be extinguished. The promise will not be forgotten. And you do not fight alone. You are part of something greater than you can imagine. And I, with all of heaven, am with you. My beloved child, when the world feels as heavy as a soaked cloak, when each step feels burdened by the weight of time, when trials stack like mountains you fear you cannot climb, I want you to pause, not to surrender, but to remember something deeper than any storm. You are not alone. You are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, a family unseen that spans not only space, but time and eternity. They are those who have gone before you, souls who once walked the earth by faith, with sacrifice and hope. They left you not only a bloodline, but a spiritual legacy, a legacy of prayer, perseverance, and trust in what they never saw with their eyes, you. They are not far off. Like dusty figures in forgotten history, they are closer to you than anyone else. They do not belong to a lifeless past, but are fully alive in the spiritual realm, where the line between what has been and what is to come no longer exists. They are not silent. They are praying for you. They do not look away. When you fall, they reach out in the spirit to strengthen you in the moments you feel depleted. You may not see them, but they see you clearly. They see every tear you swallow in silence. Every day you rise, though your heart is breaking. Every moment you choose what is right, even when no one is watching. And they smile not with pity, but with profound understanding. For they once stood where you now stand. Every word you whisper in the night, every dream you hold silently in your heart, every longing you dare not voice aloud, it all echoes into eternity. And I, along with the beloved ones who have gone before you, hear it all. Prayer is not a one-way street. You are not just praying for your life, you are being upheld by the prayers of those who have already been perfected in me. They once prayed for your strength, your wisdom, your endurance, and now they continue that prayer unceasingly, without delay. They do not want you to merely survive. They want you to rise. They are not praying that you escape hardship, they believe you will overcome it. They are not asking for your safety, they are asking for your courage to become the person I created and called you to be before the world began. Imagine, my child, that every time you feel discouraged, a soft breeze stirs around you. That is not coincidence. That is the whispered encouragement of those who loved you even before you were born. When your heart shatters and you don't know how to regain your composure, that is the moment they kneel in eternity to intercede for you. When you face the silence of the world, it is not the absence of love, but the sacred stillness in which the voice of heaven speaks more deeply into your soul. That is the moment I and your entire spiritual family speak over you, saying, do not stop, do not turn back. You are closer to the promise now. We are here. We see you. We believe in you. And my child, that is the strength you need to continue. Not strength drawn from worldly success or human praise, but strength that comes from your sacred roots. Strength that comes from knowing you are part of a greater flow of grace than yourself. And you cannot be swallowed by any wave, because you are swimming in waters blessed by those who came before. You are not building from nothing, you are continuing a work started with tears, faith, and a love that transcends time. Do not underestimate the seemingly small steps you take. Do not undervalue a single day of faithful living, for every step you take is not just your own, it is the continuation of an unbroken spiritual journey. Live as if every eye in heaven is watching you, not to judge, but to cheer you on. Remember, in those moments you feel like letting go, there are hundreds of souls reaching out to hold your hand in the unseen. Let the call from eternity compel you to press on, to stand firm, to take even one more step with courage, because each step brings you closer to the fulfillment that an entire generation once hoped for. My beloved child, do not let temporary darkness cover the eternal light burning within you. Do not let the voice of fear drown out the call of destiny. Let the prayers sown into the soil of your spirit over generations bloom in you as fruits of the right season. And remember, you are not merely the destination of a family's journey, but the starting point of a new river where future generations will look up and say, we can keep going. Because one person didn't give up. That person is you. And I, along with the great cloud of heavenly witnesses, I am standing here surrounding you, blessing you, and upholding you with every breath you take. Live like it. Rise up, for you have never, and will never, walk alone. As a child of God, He is always beside you in every moment, reminding you to live continually in faith and in His unfailing love. Make sure to follow and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the words I speak from heaven. Amen.